Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are after market close on Thursday, October 5th. We're going to take a look at CoStar Group today. CSGP. We've not looked at this before, but it came onto my radar, so I thought I would come and check it out. So we're going to put in some levels on the chart here, and then we'll zoom into the intraday and see how those levels sort of play out. And then we will flip over to the Think or Swim study and see how things are situated in the channel, as well as with the TTM squeeze indicator. So let's give ourselves some levels here. Now the first thing I'm going to put in is obviously this big gap up. So we'll see if it comes up to fill this gap. It looks like it would finish filling it a bit over $90, and it would enter this gap here right at about 87.58. So a decent percentage gain up, especially for such. See where we have some interesting levels in here. Obviously this swing high here is going to be of interest, 83.83. It's an easy one to remember. And then sort of where it built the base, let me see. I'm gonna go here. And let me see if there's anything. Okay, I think that's okay. The stock, if you scroll left, I'm not gonna do it at the moment because things get a little bit roller coastery here on video when we do that. But if you scroll left on your chart, you'll see this is a common, it's a gappy stock, and so there's a lot of gaps that develop and a lot of gaps that get filled. A few that I noticed that haven't been filled, at least to date, and have been left for quite some time. So, you know, something to consider there. But this one up here was the one that sort of stood out to me at the moment because also it's pretty near in, as you can tell. Let me see if there's anything. Okay, this guy is interesting here. Let me see. Okay, and then we're almost done here, and then we'll zoom in and sort of see how these levels are playing out. But we won't be able to see these levels on the chart, so just to kind of put a fine point on them, I'm not going to leave that one there. The levels to the downside, as I see it, the nearest in one, 79.13, but then potentially not much. Oh, we could put a level here. Not quite as strong as some of the others, but there's such a big space in between that maybe it'll come into play. So 78.40, 77.96, 77.28. And then again, a little bit spacey, although there could be a level there, let's say. Seems like a good one. 76.86, 76.48, and 76.12. And then it's sort of kind of questionable. If we come down in that range and folks are interested, I'd be happy to take a look, but I'd really need to kind of zoom in here or sort of scroll left and see if we have, you know, decent price action in that range. Looks like we do. So, you know, something around 70, high 73s here seems obvious, and probably something around 75 there as well. But like I said, we can come back in and try to pinpoint those if we need. I'm going to see if there's anything between this 79.13, this 80.65 that wants to jump out. Anything want to jump out? Anything? Where was this previous price action? Sorry, that was the roller coaster thing I was talking about. I ended up doing it anyway. Oh, here's a good one. Okay, I'm gonna go this level here. 80.11. I mean, I could be wrong. I'd be kind of surprised if that doesn't just act as like the psychological 80 level, but maybe it'll be more sort of like fine grain than that. And maybe something about right here. Okay. All right, let's go to the 10-minute and sort of see how these would have looked intraday on a pretty decent day today. Again, stock this price moving up over 4%. That's not nothing. So coming into the day, sort of wrestling with this 76.86, kind of double bottomed-ish, this 76.48, and then a nice push through, and then just kind of laddered its way up. A little pullback here, but then a nice step, little pullback and a step, and then here just sort of like a triple resistance to support sort of price thread. And then topping out a few pennies shy of that 79.70 that we have there. And I think this is probably Weibo being weird, or who knows, maybe it's not, but that doesn't seem like it's sort of amounting to much of anything because now the price is back up here. So a little bit of a pullback so far in the after hours, but at first I was like, whoa, what's this? But I suspect it's probably not anything. So those are the levels as I see it at the moment. Now let's flip over to the Think or Swim study. So here we are. On this study, we're going to look at the channel setup, the wave cloud, sort of the trend, and then the TTM squeeze indicator. So looking at that same 10-minute intraday that we were just looking at, we see a nice motion already out of the channel at open, which is interesting, and then a pullback, a quick retest of the mid-range of the channel. That's always what we look for when something leaves the channel to the upside or the downside, is if and when it's going to come retest the mid-range of the channel. Did that pretty quickly, came back out of the channel, and then sort of just rode the wave cloud for the rest of the day, which is a really strong motion, and didn't even need to come down and retest the mid-range. As you see, this is the closest that it came later on in the day, and it was it didn't even need to come down that far. So bullish momentum just sort of maintaining a few hiccups in there along the way, but really, really strong motion as we see. Now this one a little bit more sort of predictable as we were talking about, where it stretched out, came back and tested, stretched out, came back and tested, stretched out. But I mean, it's just continuous motion there to the upside of the channel, at least on the 10-minute for the last couple of days. Now coming out to the hour to see where things are looking there. Yeah, still just like getting some incredible distance here from the upper bound of the channel, stretching the wave cloud up out of the top of the channel, and at this point overcoming this 180 to 200 EMA cloud and potentially being able to secure that as additional support, not only channel support, wave cloud support, but then that 180 to 200 EMA wave cloud support, if it can hold it. We'll see. But you see nice smooth bullish momentum gaining here on the hour chart. So that could be breathing some life into it. Let's see on the daily how things are looking. So obviously a different look here, right? So this is interesting. We see here it's been pulling back for quite a while. Right now, because it was in this downtrend for a while, caught under this red cloud, it's just in a neutral trend at the moment because it's really, it fell out of the channel like we were talking about, on the opposite side of things. On the 10-minute and the hour, it was up out of the upper bound of the channel. But here on the daily, we see a much different story. We see it's fallen through the lower bound of the channel. And then yesterday, it was able to finagle itself into the channel while it was crushing some of the bearish momentum. And then today, a big push up, and that's when it started to wrestle with that mid-range of the channel. So I'd be most interested to see tomorrow what it does with the mid-range of that channel. Does it push off of it? Like we saw here. Here it was trying to hold it, right? And it pushed off and eventually just continued to bleed down further. Or is it able to get clean support and push toward the upper bound of the channel relatively quickly? That's sort of what this attempt missed out on. It gained support for a few days over the mid-range in the channel, but what it didn't do was it wasn't able to muster the bullish strength to push toward the upper bound of the channel, and then eventually it sort of capitulated and just lost the support of the mid-range of the channel and flipped it to resistance and then moved quickly to the lower bound of the channel. So you see the difference there of support unable to push to the upper bound of the channel versus when it lost that support, it quickly came down and tested the lower bound of the channel. That would have been an indication of, okay, the bears still have a grip on this one, even though the bulls made a valiant effort, right, to get it back in through this motion. So interesting time frame, not literally like 10-minute or 1 hour time frame, but interesting period of time for this stock as it sort of seems to work its way through different time frames on the chart and different setups that it's that's kind of sorting out. All right, folks, I hope that your trading week has been going well and that you finish off the week strong tomorrow. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.